So hello everyone, welcome to our webinar today. My name is Mairead and I'm currently in Galway in Ireland. So it's really nice to virtually meet you all. I can see from some of your comments that you're tuning in from South Africa, from India. So yeah, isn't technology amazing? It still blows my mind sometimes. So as I said, my name is Mairead and I've been teaching for a really long time, since 2004. And I've been working with the TEFL Academy since 2015 now. So yeah, many happy years. So hopefully I'm very well placed to answer any of your questions related to the assignments that are part of the courses with the TEFL Academy. Because we have so many different courses running, we're not going to be talking about specific assignments as such. Instead, we're going to try to give a general overview of how to pass the assignments across all of the courses. That said, if you have any specific questions about any of the assignments for your course, please type them into the chat box as we go. And in the questions and answers session at the end, I'll try to get through as many as I can. All right. Oh, hello, Brazil. Hello, Eliane. And someone from the Philippines. Hi, Yulan. Okay, so everyone, we have lots to do today, so let's get going. So I guess a question that you all ask yourselves at some stage is, why do we have to do all of these assignments? You know, the assignments are, sometimes they're quite long, sometimes they're quite detailed. So you're probably wondering why we put you through all of this. Well, there are two very good reasons why we must give you assignments. The first reason is about our accreditation. As you know, our courses are highly accredited from governing bodies, and our assignments must, prove to them that we're teaching you the right things, that we're meeting their accreditation standards. Our assignments are very heavily moderated. Yeah, so our governing bodies are always checking to see how we're doing. Another reason for you as the students is that our assignments give you the chance to apply the theory. You learn so much theoretical knowledge about grammar, teaching vocabulary, skills. So the assignments is really your chance to put it all into practice. It gives you the chance to do everything that you will be doing once you start teaching. Okay, so they're an excellent practice activity for you all as well. Okay, when it comes to accessing your assignments, generally you will find the first assignment at the end of Unit 5 of your course. With our courses, the way they're structured, you need to complete all of the units sequentially. You need to pass the end of unit tests in order to access the assignments. Okay, when you get to the point of the course where your assignment is explained, there will generally be a video giving the instructions, and there will be, various pages of instructions that you need to read before you do your assignment. Very often you will need to watch all of the videos and read all of the support documentation before your assignment will be unlocked. So if you can't see your assignment yet, don't worry. You've got to work through it, work through the units, work through the instructions before you gain access to the assignments themselves. Okay. All of our assignments come with a lot of documents for you to download, a lot of templates. So, I would advise you to download all of those documents and create a dedicated assignment folder. That would be your first thing to do, just to make sure you have everything organized and ready to go. Okay. As I said, the assignments can be quite long at times, quite detailed. So if you ever have any problems understanding the instructions, don't hesitate to get in touch. All right. You will see when you log on to our online site that you have the option to send a ticket. A ticket is basically a request for help. So whatever your question is, okay, open up a new ticket, and depending on what the question is related to, send it to either admin support, technical support, or tutor support. Okay. If your question is to do with enrollments, registration, course expiry dates, etc., contact admin support. They take care of all of that. If your question is related to some sort of IT problem that you're having, or you can't see a certain page of the course, for example, please contact technical support. And finally, if you have any questions about the content of the course or about the assignments or the assignment instructions, you've got to get in touch with tutor support. My colleagues and I will be in tutor support waiting to answer any questions you have regarding course content or assignments. All right. So we'll recap again later on, just to make sure you know who to contact depending on the questions you have. Okay, so while all of the assignments for the different courses may be different, they all have one thing in common. Referencing is required for all of them. In the TEFL Academy, we use the Harvard referencing system. So when you get to your first assignment, as I said, typically at the end of Unit 5, you'll get a referencing guide. Okay, and that will tell you step by step how to reference everything, whether it's a website, whether it's a book, whether it's course material. Okay, all of the referencing guidelines will be there. The really important thing is that you do reference all material used in the assignment. Okay, you'll be provided with a bibliography template that you will use for that. Okay. Another thing that all of the assignments have in common is that they will require materials, whether it's a worksheet, whether it's a visual, whether it's a video. Okay, all of the assignments will require materials attached. So it's really important that if you take the material from another source online, you've got to reference it thoroughly and upload a screenshot of the visual or worksheet, okay, or upload a PDF copy of the worksheet. It's not enough just to give us the link to an external source. Yeah, we've got to see the actual worksheet in your assignment, okay, or an actual screenshot of your material. Okay, so that's really important. If you just send us a link without including the actual content, we will ask you to resubmit. Okay. So when you have your assignments all compiled, when you have all of the necessary files, here are some things you can do just to make sure that you're uploading the right thing. Every assignment will come with a checklist included with the instructions. So read through that checklist and make sure you're attaching all of the relevant files. Okay. Before you submit your assignment, make sure you save copies of everything before you convert them to PDF format. So maybe you've been working on them in a Word document or in Google Sheets. Make sure you save everything, okay, before you convert to PDF. The reason for this is if for any reason you need to resubmit, you can go back to your original files in Microsoft Word, for example, and it will be much easier to edit them there. All right. So it all goes back to the organization. Have your folder, save all of your files, and yeah, they'll always be there just in case you need to do some touch-ups on it and resubmit. But when you have all of your files in perfect order, save them to PDF, because we only accept documents in PDF format. All right. If you're not sure how to do that, there are some really good instructional videos on YouTube, converting files to PDF. Or alternatively, you can contact admin support or tutor support if you can't figure it out, and we'll do our best to help. But yeah, the important thing is they need to be in PDF format when submitted. Some other things to bear in mind. Please make sure all of your files are clearly labeled. In the instructions, you'll be given a naming convention for each file, which will basically state your name and the name of the file that you're submitting. And chances are you'll be submitting at least 4 or 5 files. So, for yourselves and for us, it's great that you're organized and you have all of your files named completely, or named correctly, sorry. When you upload all of your files into the window, just give them one last check. Just make sure everything is there before you hit save and submit your assignments. Okay, so just double check that everything is uploaded, before you click save and send them to us. Now, we understand that with all of the checking in the world, okay, we know that feeling of horror when you click save and realize that you sent the wrong thing. So if this happens, please don't panic. Okay, we understand that mistakes happen. All you need to do is send a ticket through to admin support or tutor support, okay, to request that your submission be reversed. All right. So, for example, you could just send a ticket to tutor support saying, I have uploaded the incorrect files for this assignment. Can you reverse my submission? Okay, that's all you need to say. And then tutor support or admin support will sort that out for you. Okay, we understand that these things happen. Okay. When you send off your assignment to be graded, it can take up to 5 or 7 working days. Okay, so note the working days here, and the weekends don't count as days. All right, so if you submit on a Monday, you should be receiving it back the following Monday. Okay, a lot of times it'll be faster than that. It just depends how many assignments we're getting through to be graded. Okay, but generally you will have it back within 5 working days. When you submit your assignment, your assignment will be allocated to a grader. Our graders are very highly qualified, highly experienced EFL teachers. We have a very specific marking rubric to follow. As I mentioned before, our accreditation bodies give us a lot of targets that, our assignments need to hit. So we have a very detailed rubric. We know exactly what to look out for in these assignments. We aim to be as transparent and as objective as possible. Okay, so if you ever have any questions about your grading or your feedback, we absolutely welcome you to contact tutor support, and we are always available to give extra feedback or to explain feedback, etc. Okay, rest assured that assignments are very regularly moderated and monitored by our accrediting bodies. All of the graders do a lot of standardization work, etc. So rest assured that your grader is absolutely there to help, and they're looking after your best interests. Extensive feedback will be provided for every attempt. Okay, once your assignment has been graded, you will typically receive an email to your email address that you have registered for on the course. So you'll get an email telling you your work has been graded. Then you just need to go to your homepage, look for the little icon on the top right, click it, and then you'll see the drop-down menu. Go to grades, and you will see your assignment feedback at the bottom of that page. Okay, so it's really important that you know where to find your feedback. So yeah, go to the icon, click grades on the drop-down menu, and go to the bottom of that page to find your feedback. Okay, as I mentioned before, if you ever have any questions about the feedback, if perhaps there's something you don't understand, just drop a ticket to tutor support and we'll be more than willing to help. Okay, so sometimes you submit your assignment and unfortunately it doesn't quite meet all of the criteria. Okay, in that case, you will be asked to resubmit. Please don't panic if you're asked to resubmit. It's genuinely not the end of the world. Okay, it's not a big issue. For each assignment, you're allowed 2 resubmissions. Okay. So in other words, you can submit an assignment, resubmit it, and if necessary, resubmit it again. All right. If you do have to resubmit, your grader will give you really detailed feedback, telling you exactly what sections need to be fixed and how you should go about fixing them. Okay, so, it's never a case that you're in the dark about what needs doing. We make sure you know what to fix and how to fix it. So if you do have to resubmit your assignment, you can go back to your original files that you have saved. You can make all of the changes suggested by your grader. All right. And then rename them. Okay. Rename the files you've changed to, for example, teacher language submission 2. Okay. It's really important that, you keep the names of your files organized so that you're always organizing you're always submitting the latest version of your file. Okay, so when you have all of your files amended as suggested by your grader, go to the upload window, select add new attempt, and upload your files. Okay, it's really important that you submit all of the required files for each assignment. Okay. So, for example, for assignment B in the level 5 course, there are 6 files that you need to upload. Even if you only need to amend 1 file, okay, you will still need to upload all 6 files. Okay, so that with every submission, you're giving us all of the required documents. Don't just send us the file that you made changes to. All right, we need to see all of the files with each submission. Again, if there's anything you're uncertain about, if you're not sure what to resubmit or which files you should send again, just send us a ticket to tutor support and we'll make sure that we put you on the right path. Again, just as long as you submit all of the required files for each submission, you'll be okay. All right. Most of the courses, if not all, requires some sort of grammar assignment, some sort of lesson plan aimed at teaching grammar. So here are some hints for you when it comes to those assignments. The model assignments that we provide are only a guide. Okay, the model assignments are just there for you to see what your finished assignment should look like or how it should be laid out. Okay, I'll give you an example. For assignment B in the level course 5, the model lesson is about the present perfect. Okay, but your actual assignment is not about the present perfect, it's about the first conditional. All right, so the model assignments are just that, they're just examples. Your actual assignment will be based on a different grammatical form. When you're planning your lesson for the grammar assignment, it's really important that you consider your class carefully. Consider their age, okay? Because, you know, the materials you use for adults might be different to the ones you'd use for young learners. So you've got to make sure your material and your activities are age appropriate. Of course, you've also got to take into consideration the level of the students. If they're only elementary, for example, you will have to make sure your language is really basic, really easy. Okay, you'll have to grade your language according to the level. If the assignment is based on higher levels, like advanced students, you know, you'll be able to use pretty much the language that you would use with another native speaker of English or another proficient speaker of English. Okay, so it's really important that in your grammar assignments, you show us that you can grade your language accordingly. Okay, as well as that, some assignments are based on face-to-face lessons and some of them are based on online lessons. So again, that's another thing you need to think about carefully because it's different, you know, how you would approach a face-to-face lesson and an online lesson. So again, in your assignments, if required, you'll need to show that you're aware of the differences in classroom management and in delivering materials between face-to-face and online. Okay. For most of the courses, your grammar lesson structure, your lesson plan structure will be based on PPP. Don't worry if you haven't come across that yet on the online materials. It will all be explained when you get there. But as a sort of a cheat sheet for you, as a quick reference guide, here is the rundown of a PPP lesson plan. So you will start with a warmer, okay, to create a context, you know, to establish a theme for your lesson. There will be a presentation stage. This is where you will teach the new language. Okay, you will try to elicit it and concept check the form and function. Okay, then there will be a controlled practice stage. For example, a gap fill or a worksheet of some sort. This is to focus on accuracy of the new language, to check that students can really form it correctly and use it correctly. Next, there will be a freer practice stage. This will generally be some sort of speaking task, and it will focus on oral fluency. You know, it will give students a chance to use the new language in a natural context. Okay, finally, you will end your lesson plan with a plenary stage. This is just basically a consolidation stage, okay, where you wrap up everything the students have learned. I always think in the plenary, it's nice to ask the students to tell you rather than you tell them, okay? So ask them, so who can tell me the form? Who can tell me the function? Yeah, who can tell me about pronunciation? Who can give me an example sentence? Okay, so that's a nice way to end the lesson by letting the students tell you what they have learned. All right, so they would be the basic stages of your PPP lesson plan. Bear in mind that the timing for each stage will depend on the type of task you set. Okay, so in a 60-minute lesson, you know, you will have to divide up the time among all of the stages as appropriate. You'll read more about that in the online material too. Okay. I would say the biggest piece of advice for planning a grammar lesson or a grammar lesson plan assignment is to thoroughly research the target form. Okay, this is genuinely the most important thing before you even start planning your lesson for your assignment. Okay, make sure you know your form inside out. If you need to teach, or if you need to plan a lesson on the first conditional, make sure you understand the first conditional. Okay, how do we make it? How do we use it? What's it for? Okay, or if your assignment is about the past continuous, for example, yeah, make sure you know how to make it and how to identify all of the different parts of it. I can't state that enough, everyone. Research of your form is key. Not only is it essential for your assignment, it's also really good practice for when you start teaching for real. Because, you know, when we start teaching for real, a lot of our time is spent just researching. Yeah, we need to understand what we're teaching before we try to teach it. I know a lot of you will be using websites for your research into grammar. That's absolutely fine. But just be conscious of the fact that, you know, some websites are not the most accurate. Okay, so if you see the form of the first conditional on one website, make sure you also check another couple of websites just to, you know, just to be sure that you have the right thing. Okay. When it comes to sourcing practice tasks, you know, there are some really good EFL websites that you can use to find worksheets or to find ideas. You know, this is absolutely not a problem as long as you then reference the website that you took the material from. Okay. So yeah, research is key. Moving on from the grammar lessons, some of the assignments require that you plan a reading lesson. Okay. Again, this will all be explained in the online material, and you'll see some really great examples of tasks for reading lessons. However, just as a quick reference for you, these are the stages that would normally be present in a reading lesson. You'll have your warmer, as always. Then in a reading lesson, you will typically pre-teach vocabulary. You'll have a first reading task and a second reading task, and then a follow-on speaking task. Okay. So normally the first reading task will focus on skimming. So getting our students to read everything really quickly for a general overview. The first reading task may also focus on scanning, where you're looking for specific information like a number or a name. Okay. The second reading task then will typically involve much more detailed comprehension questions, where students will really have to read carefully to find the answers to the comprehension questions. Okay, it's really important that you include appropriate questions for the first reading and the second reading task. Okay, again, you will find all of this online, explained in much greater detail. Okay, another thing that a lot of assignments have in common is that you will be required to provide some teacher language. In other words, we need to know the exact words you would use to teach your students. In your teacher language document, it's super important that you use direct speech. Okay, so don't describe what you would do. Give us the exact words you would use. Okay, direct speech. You will typically need to show how you would elicit something. Yeah, or make the students tell you before you tell them. You'll need to show how you would concept check. And you will also need to give us your instructions to one of your tasks. So again, what exact words would you use to give instructions? Let's look in a little more detail at eliciting, because, you know, that is fundamental in the teaching process. So imagine that you wanted to teach your students the word excited. Okay. You would not go in and tell your students, our first word is excited. It means really happy. Okay, we would never do that. Instead, we would try to elicit. Take a look at this dialogue as an example. How does this woman feel? She's smiling, happy. Yeah, she's very happy. What's another word for very happy? Okay, see, we're eliciting here. What's another word? And hopefully your students will say, excited. Okay, maybe they know, maybe they don't. Okay, but you give them a chance to tell you before you tell them. Okay, so then you can continue just to make sure they understand. Yes, what other things might I be excited about? You won the lottery? That's a good example. I'd be very excited if I won the lottery. Okay, so once we have elicited the new language then, we've got to concept check it. Okay, we've got to make sure they understand. Here's an example. Do you get excited to go to a party? Yes. How about going to the dentist? No. It would be very unusual for a student to say yes here, I think. You could concept check further by asking, is excited a good or a great feeling? So it's better than good, it's great. Okay. So then we can just wrap up with another nice explanation. Yes, being excited is a great feeling when we know something good is going to happen. All right. So this is how we would like you to elicit and concept check. Also, how we would like you to present your teacher language. Present it in the form of a dialogue, using exact words you would use. And, you can give imaginary responses from your students, just as we have in these two examples. Okay. Another part of teacher language, as I said before, will be giving instructions. So you typically need to give us the exact words you would use to give instructions for one of your tasks. When you've given your instruction, it's important that you then check the instructions. Okay. So a lot of new teachers will check their instructions by asking, do you understand? Okay, now, here in the TEFL Academy, we are not a fan of this question because guaranteed everyone will say, yes, teacher, I understand. Okay, because nobody wants to admit that they haven't understood something, right? Instead, a far more effective way of instruction checking is asking students to repeat the instructions back to you. Okay, so you might say, all right, James, what's the first thing you have to do? Okay, and Maria, what do you do next? Okay, Etienne, are you reading the answer, or are you writing the answers or saying the answers? Okay. Ask them questions. Let them repeat the instructions back to you. This is a far more effective way of checking instructions. Okay. Moving on from teacher language, another factor in some assignments is the use of authentic texts. Okay. Authentic texts are texts or listening recordings, okay, that have not been edited for the EFL classroom. Okay, they have not been modified in any way to make them easier for the EFL classroom. Okay, they are just real English. Okay, not modified, not sanitized. We could find them in, for example, a newspaper, perhaps a TED Talk that's originally developed in English. Okay, in a blog that's originally written in English. Again, when you're choosing your authentic text for your assignments, you've got to consider the age, level, and nationality or culture of your class profile that you've been provided with. Okay, it's really important that we avoid offensive texts. texts that are likely to cause offense. We've got to try and choose a text that will be interesting for everyone, but that will not offend, okay, or will not lead to awkward explanations or awkward feelings in the classroom. Okay. So, for example, imagine your task is to look for an authentic text for a class of 10 B1 intermediate mixed nationality students. The vocabulary lesson topic is pollution caused by plastic. So which of the following would be the best authentic text for this class? A cartoon showing a person littering a beach. B, a statistical report from the Environmental Journal. Or C, a newspaper article from the Daily Tribune. So all of the options are related to the environment, right? But if we think about it, the first option, a cartoon, that's not likely to include any text. It wouldn't be ideal for a reading task because there would be very little text. It could be good for a warmer, but not an authentic reading text. B, a statistical report from the Environmental Journal. This sounds like it'd be too technical, right? It'd be far too difficult for the students. It would probably require a far greater knowledge of the theme than they would possess. But option C, a newspaper article from the Daily Tribune, that would be our best bet. Okay. The Daily Tribune sounds like a rather general interest newspaper, right? So it probably won't be so specific. It'll probably, approach the topic in a nice general explanatory way. Okay. So yeah, consider your authentic texts carefully. As for some general hints that will help you with all of the assignments, when it comes to difficult vocabulary, make sure that you use the TEFL course glossary and a dictionary. Okay, there are a lot of quite technical terms in teaching, so don't be daunted if there's a term you don't understand. We have a glossary on the website for you to use, or a dictionary, or other online sources. If there's anything you still don't understand, send a ticket to tutor support and we will absolutely help you out. I would say please make sure that you have downloaded all of the relevant documents for the assignments. Again, there will be a lot of documents, so get yourself organized. Download them all, put them into a special folder. Okay, keep everything together. And as I said before, each assignment will come with a checklist. So, please use that checklist to make sure that you're including all of the relevant things. There will also be a copy of the assessment criteria, okay, that will tell you exactly what your graders are looking for. So use that information to make sure that you're hitting all of the correct points. Another great tip would be to proofread your work thoroughly. Please check your assignments before you submit them. Remember that in the introduction to the course, you have acknowledged in the terms and conditions that your English is at least a C1 level, okay, that it's at least at an advanced level. The reason for this being that your English must be a higher level than the class being taught. Okay, so your assignments may involve planning tasks for advanced learners. So, you must show that your English is good enough for teaching that level. So please proofread, do a thorough grammar and spell check. Again, if there's anything you're not sure of, contact tutor support for help. Okay, we're always on hand. As I said at the beginning of the webinar, there are lots of ways for you to get help depending on your issue. Please contact admin support for anything to do with extensions, course expiry, login issues, etc. Please contact IT or technical support if you're having any computer-related problems with Moodle. If things won't load or if things won't download, contact IT support. And everything else to do with the course content or assignments, get in touch with tutor support. Okay. So let's all take a breath. That was a lot of information. The good news is now I get to turn all of the power over to you. Okay. Any questions you have at all about assignments or anything we've said today, please type them into the chat box and I will be more than happy to help. Okay, so I'll give you a minute just to think of some questions to pop into the chat box. Okay, no questions yet, but I'm confident you have some. There are always questions. In the meantime, it's really great to see that you're from so many places. Isn't it amazing? We have France, South Africa, Canada. It's awesome. Hello, Dominic. So let's take a look at your question, Dominic. How long do assignments tend to be? Well, Dominic, it very much depends. I'm afraid I don't have a clear-cut answer for this one. They are as long as they need to be. I know that's very vague and I apologize, but all of the assignments, all of the courses have different assignments that are all different lengths. I would say as long as you've downloaded all of the templates and you've completed all of the templates to the best of your ability, you'll be doing very well. Okay, thank you, Dominic. Okay, so hello, Anita. We have a question here. Hi, I'm very slow with assignments. Not to worry, Anita. They take some people longer than others. Please don't worry about that. Currently on assignment B, I'm wondering, is assignment C just as long? So Anita, I assume you're talking about the level 5 course here. The good news is that assignment C is not as long. It doesn't have as many parts as assignment B. Okay, assignment B is by far the longest one. All right. It's not to say that assignment C is a walk in the park, but it's a lot shorter. You just need to write an essay, write an evaluation, and work on 3 different activities related to an authentic text. Okay, so not to worry. It's once you're over assignment B, you're over the longest one. Okay, you're welcome, Anita. Okay, let's see. We have a question from Bluesatron. Ooh, very, very exotic name. So if we use dictionary definitions, do we have to provide a separate reference for each one? Oh, great question. If you've used the same dictionary for all of the definitions, no, you don't. You can just give us a reference for the dictionary itself. Okay. Perhaps you can write something like all definitions taken from this dictionary, and then give us the full reference for the dictionary. If you use a couple of different dictionaries, you will have to give us references for all of the dictionaries that you use, but not all of the definitions. Okay, so thank you, Bluesatron. Good question. Okay. So any other questions? I'll give you a few minutes. I just know that as soon as the webinar is over, you're all going to just have a million questions. So I really want to give you the opportunity to drag those questions out now while I'm here. Hello, Minna. Let's have a look at your question. I am on assignment A. Can I repeat the same dialogue to elicit and explain the 2 vocabulary items? So I'm not entirely sure here, Mena, what you mean by the same dialogue. Because you're giving us the teacher language for 2 different words or phrases, it will be different. You'll be using different ways, different words to teach each one. If you mean, can you use the same structure, like elicit, work on pronunciation and concept check? Yeah, absolutely. You can structure them the same way. That is not a problem. But the dialogues themselves will be different for each word. Okay, so thank you, Minna. Please get back to me if I haven't answered your question properly. So, hello, Alison. How are you? A South African currently in the USA. Oh gosh, very nice. You're a long way from home. So is it possible to go back and do the assignments after all the lessons are done? So do you mean here, Alison, is it possible to do all of the units and then do all of the assignments at the end? If so, yes, it is. That's not a problem. Some students prefer to do it that way. They prefer to see the entire course and then do all of the assignments. I would say if you can, though, it's probably easier for you to do the assignments as they crop up, okay? Because then all of the necessary information is still very fresh in your mind, okay? For example, in units 1 to 5, you learn about teaching vocabulary, about setting reading tasks, etc. And then at the end of unit 5, you have your assignment, which requires you to do all of these things. So, it can be easier to do them as they crop up because the information is fresher in your mind. And then you can move on with the course as you're waiting for your assignment to be graded. Okay. That said, though, it's entirely up to you. You can space out your work however you wish. Okay. Thank you, Alison. Okay, good. So let's have a look at some more questions. So, hi, Alicia. Good to have you with us. Let's take a look at your question. Even if we pass the assignment, will there still be feedback on your work or just when you fail the assignment? Oh gosh, no, Alicia, you will get extensive feedback. If you pass or if you need to resubmit, okay? Either way, you'll get tons of feedback. When you pass an assignment, your grader will comment on what you've done really well and what you can do to improve. Okay, or if there are any sections that were perhaps a little on the weaker side, you will get lots of suggestions on how to improve them going forward. Okay, so there is always lots and lots of feedback, regardless of the grade you get. Okay, thank you, Alicia. Okay, Mena, same structure. Oh, yeah, that's it, Mena. They can follow the same structure. Absolutely, just like the model answer on the template. Okay, thank you for clarifying. So, hello, Monique. Thank you for your question. Do you recommend that we complete assignment A before moving on with the next unit? So this is linked, I think, to the previous question from Alison. In a way, I think it's easier to do the assignments as they occur, because then, yeah, the information is fresher in your mind. Okay, but that said, it's entirely up to you. If you want to leave them all till the end, that's okay too. We're not going to tell you that you must do them as they occur. But personally, I think it's easier, but everybody is different in how they work. Okay, so thank you, Monique. Okay, so let's see if we have any more questions. So, Mpume, hi. Oh, that's a fabulous name. Lovely to have you with us. Let's take a look at your question. On assignment A templates, are we supposed to fill in, remove stuff written in there, or we can add or fill in the blank areas? Okay. So, Mpume, you'll see that in most of the templates for the assignments, there'll always be an example given. You don't have to remove those examples. Okay, you can just leave them there. All you need to do is write your answers into the blank areas. Okay, so you don't need to go deleting anything. All right, so don't worry about that. Okay, thank you, Mpume. Good question. Okay, Mena, let's have a look. It's me again. Always a pleasure. Another question on assignment A. How can I double check my word stress pattern? I want to make sure. So, Mena, for this, there are two things you can do. First of all, just look at your dictionary. You know, when you're looking at the IPA transcription for a word in the dictionary, you'll see a little apostrophe symbol. Okay, so look for the little apostrophe symbol because the stress syllable will always be directly after it. Okay, so that will tell you where the main stress is. Okay, the syllable that comes directly after the apostrophe symbol. Another way to check is that there's a really good website called howmanysyllables.com. And if you go along to that website and type in your word, it will tell you. It's magic. It will tell you how many syllables there are. All right. So combining the howmanysyllables.com with the IPA transcription with the little apostrophe in the dictionary, you should be very much able to work out what the correct word stress is. Okay, thank you, Mena. Good question. So Dominic, Kathy, not Dominic. So Kathy, if we're not familiar with Moodle, will using that become clear as we start doing assignments? Yeah, I think so, Kathy. I'm confident it will. Remember, the assignments will come later on in the course, so you'll already have 5 units worth of experience navigating Moodle by the time you get to the assignments. But again, if you are struggling with it, please just contact tutor support. Okay, we'll help you to navigate Moodle and get the most out of it. Okay, so never sit there wondering what to do. Just send a ticket and we'll help you. Okay, great. Thanks, Kathy. Good question. All right. So hi, Jocelyn. Are there due dates on the assignments as we all don't start at the same time? Ooh, great question, Jocelyn. So there aren't really any specific due dates. Okay, that's the good news. When you enroll on the course, you get 6 months to complete the course, right? So as long as all of the assignments are completed and passed within the 6 months, you're all good. Okay. So there are no specific ones, but you have 6 months to do and pass them all. Okay. We would always advise that when it comes towards the end of your course, try to get your final assignments submitted 2 weeks before your course ends. Okay, because that just gives you some time to get it graded, and if you need to resubmit, it gives you time to get that sorted too. Okay, so always aim to submit your last assignment 2 weeks before your course expires. Okay, if you leave it like really tight, like if you only submit it a day or two before your course ends, chances are that you won't get it graded in time and you'll have to get an extension. Okay, that said, if you do run out of time, getting an extension, it won't impact your grades, it won't impact anything. Other than it'll take you a bit longer and it may cost you a bit extra money. Okay. So yeah, really good question, Justin. Thank you. Okay, and blue citron. Blue citrone. I wonder, is that Italian? Anyhow, I'm getting sidetracked. If we reference something mentioned in the course, do we need to put it in the bibliography? So I wonder what you mean here. Do you mean some sort of task or some sort of activity? If it's a task you're using in your lesson plan or an activity, absolutely. Okay, you do need to reference it. In some of the assignments, you need to write like a short paragraph to justify the choice of tasks. Or in assignment C for level 5, you need to write an essay about various things. In that case, yes, you would need to reference where the information comes from. Okay. That said, in assignment A, level 5, it's not really obligatory to reference what you write in your justification paragraph, but if you do pull something from the course, sure, reference it just to be sure. Okay. Oh, it's German. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. All right, good. Let's see, what other questions? So, Geraldine. Hi, Geraldine. What is Moodle? Good question. I'm sure we all ask ourselves at some stage, what is Moodle? This is just, Geraldine, the course platform. Okay, so when you log on to the course and you work through all of the pages, the units, yeah, this platform is called Moodle. Okay, so if you have any problems navigating the course and the pages and the units, send us a ticket and we'll help you out. All right, great. Okay, everyone, we have 2 more minutes. So let's use our time wisely. I'm sure we can fit in 1 or 2 more questions if you have them. Let me just go back and make sure I haven't missed anything. No, I think I've answered everything here. All right, good. So everyone, if that's it for the questions then, oh, I think Ulan is just about to sneak in one last question. In the meantime, Mena, let's have a look. So thank you for answering my questions. Oh, you're so welcome. I have another one. In the dialogue of eliciting, what if I ask the students, what's another word for? And no one knows the answer. Should I say the word? Yeah, absolutely, Mena. You know, students aren't always going to know everything. You know, that's why they're in class, right? The important thing is that we give them the opportunity. Okay, if they don't know, you can just tell them and move on. I would typically try to elicit twice. Okay, so if they didn't get it the first one, I would give them maybe another hint or another, another synonym or another context. You know, I generally always try twice. And if they don't know after the second one, just tell them and move on. Okay, because yeah, they're not always going to know everything. Okay. All right, Mena, good question. Thank you. All right. So I think we are out of time, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope it's been useful for you. As I said, if you have any questions at all related to course content or assignments, just send off a message to tutor support and we'll be delighted to help. Okay, so everyone, before you go, I have a favor to ask of you all. It would be really great if you could take a moment to go to this, or to scan this QR code and go to our little survey. to tell us what you thought of our webinar. Was it useful to you or not? Or is there any suggestions for improvement? Okay, I'm also going to put a link to the survey in the chat box in case that's easier for you to get to. And yeah, we'd love to know your opinions. And you know, just like all of us, we're always trying to do better and improve every time. Okay, everyone, I'm going to leave this QR code up for another 30 seconds and then I will end the video. So it's been really lovely spending time with you all. Have a great evening / afternoon / night and hopefully we see each other again soon. Bye.